There's a truth about marriage that could save almost every couple, but most women will fight it before they ever face it. They'll call it toxic, outdated, even dangerous. They'll rage, deflect, and label it misogyny because deep down, they know it hits too close to home. But here's the uncomfortable reality. You can't keep demanding everything from a man: his time, his energy, his stability, his devotion, while giving back nothing and still expect him to stay. You can't drain him emotionally, spiritually, and financially, then act shocked when the love disappears. Somewhere along the way, marriage stopped being a partnership and turned into customer service. She's the client, he's the provider, and no one wants to admit how broken that system is. Until we stop treating love like a one-way transaction and start seeing it for what it really is, an exchange, not an extraction, there will be no happy marriages left to save. And that's the truth no one wants to touch, because it exposes the illusion modern culture sold us about having it all. The expectations, the entitlement, the constant scorekeeping, they're not empowering relationships. They're suffocating them before they even begin. So let's talk about the real reason love keeps dying, because pretending everything's fine hasn't saved anyone yet. Somewhere in the modern dating playbook, reality got replaced by fantasy. Women are being told they deserve a man who's everything at once: a CEO with the heart of a poet, a therapist with abs, a warrior who's soft when it matters, but never loses his edge. He's supposed to make 6 figures, be home for dinner, listen for hours, and never show weakness. He's supposed to plan surprises like a movie script, read her mind without her saying a word, and still carry the weight of the world without complaint. But here's the problem. That man doesn't exist. And pretending he does has destroyed more love stories than infidelity ever could. Because when you chase a fantasy, you stop seeing the human in front of you. You stop appreciating effort and start resenting imperfection. You turn your partner into a product you can review, rate, and return when he falls short of expectations that were never real to begin with. I've counseled men who bend over backward trying to meet an invisible checklist: earn more, talk more, help more, feel more. And every time they check one box, another appears. One man told me his wife handed him a list of things to fix in their marriage, 23 items long. When he asked what she was willing to work on, she said, "I'm here, aren't I?" That's not partnership. That's performance. This is what social media has done to love. It's poisoned our idea of what relationships should look like. Every scroll is a highlight reel. Perfect vacations, perfect husbands, perfect lives. And when reality doesn't match that illusion, people don't fix the mirror. They break the marriage. Because when love becomes comparison, gratitude dies. And when gratitude dies, so does intimacy. Here's where everything starts to crumble: the emotional economy of modern love. Somewhere, the message got twisted into this idea that a man's job is to fill every emotional gap she feels, while she owes nothing in return. Feeling sad? He has to fix it. Feeling insecure? He has to reassure her again and again. Feeling bored? He has to become her entertainer, her therapist, her constant validation machine. But here's the part nobody says out loud. When he's the one who's tired, stressed, or lost, suddenly it's his problem to solve alone. Not empathy, not support. Just silence. Not partnership, but pressure. I talked to a man whose wife demanded 2 hours of emotional check-ins every single day. 2 hours of listening, validating, nodding. But when he tried to talk about his own stress, she accused him of trauma dumping and told him to see a therapist. That's not love. That's emotional extraction disguised as intimacy. And the tragedy is, culture keeps telling women this is empowerment, that emotional needs only flow one direction, hers. But empowerment without reciprocity becomes entitlement. Connection dies when compassion is one-sided. It's not emotional intelligence, it's emotional imbalance. Not vulnerability, but dependency. Not love, but consumption. Real intimacy isn't built on one person pouring endlessly into another. It's built on exchange, presence for presence, care for care, effort for effort. When only one side gives, the other eventually stops trying, not out of cruelty, but exhaustion. Because when gratitude fades and appreciation turns into expectation, even the strongest man will reach a breaking point. He won't explode. He'll just go quiet. And silence, in marriage, is never peace. It's the sound of love running out. Love doesn't grow in silence. It grows in truth. So don't just scroll past this. Hit subscribe, stay with this journey, and let's rebuild what real connection looks like. Here's the hardest truth to say. Somewhere along the way, victimhood became virtue. Too many women learned to see themselves as the wounded heroes of every story, and their men as the ficos, the villains. Every argument becomes proof that he doesn't care. Every mistake means he's broken, and she's the one suffering through his flaws. But that's not emotional awareness. That's moral superiority dressed as empathy, not self-reflection, but self-worship. Not growth, but control. I've seen this pattern again and again. The woman says, "I do everything for this family." But the moment you ask what her husband contributes, paying the bills, fixing the car, holding the line when life gets hard, it suddenly doesn't count. His work is just obligation. Hers is sacrifice. His effort is expected. Hers is saintly. I once counseled a couple where the wife couldn't name a single thing she'd done wrong in 5 years. When pressed, she said, "I just care too much." That's not accountability. That's performance. It's like rewriting your flaws into a resume. And what happens when one person always wears the crown of innocence? The other becomes the permanent suspect. The marriage turns into a trial instead of a partnership. He stops speaking up, not because he agrees, but because every word will be used as evidence against him. Here's the twist. Men rarely leave because they stop loving. They leave because they're tired of being treated like a project that always needs fixing. Tired of walking on emotional glass just to keep the peace. You can't build love when one person is the savior and the other is the sinner. That's not marriage. That's martyrdom disguised as morality. This is how most marriages die. Not with screaming, not with betrayal, but with slow, invisible erosion. It's not one fight that breaks a man. It's 1,000 quiet dismissals, 1,000 moments when he gives and it goes unnoticed, 1,000 small reminders that no matter what he does, it's never enough. Men don't leave because they stop caring. They leave because caring stopped mattering. You can only be told you're not doing enough for so long before you start believing it. You can only fix, provide, support, protect, without being seen, before the silence becomes unbearable. I once spoke to a man whose wife constantly posted online about being a married single mom. Meanwhile, he was working 70-hour weeks to pay for their home, their kids' school, her hobbies, her peace of mind. She called herself a victim because he missed a recital. That's not neglect. That's narrative. Not truth, but performance. Empathy used to be the heartbeat of marriage. Now it's conditional. Men are expected to understand, to comfort, to adjust. But when he struggles, the empathy meter hits 0. She wants his support, but not his humanity. She wants a provider, not a person. And here's the real twist. Love doesn't die from conflict. It dies from contempt. Not from shouting, but from indifference. Not from lack of money, but from lack of gratitude. Every man has a limit, and when he hits it, he doesn't rage. He retreats. He stops arguing. He stops explaining. He just shuts down. And when a man goes silent in a marriage, it's not peace. It's the funeral of connection. Here's the quiet poison no one talks about. Control disguised as care. It starts softly, with lines like, "I just want you to be your best self." It sounds loving, but it's not love. It's redesign. It's the subtle message that who he is isn't good enough, that he's a project to be fixed, not a partner to be loved. I've seen it countless times. A woman meets a man she chose, then spends the rest of the relationship trying to remake him into someone else. She changes his clothes, his habits, his hobbies, even his tone. And when he resists, she calls it emotional immaturity. Not boundaries, but defiance. Not individuality, but rejection. It's the same story, I love you for your potential. But potential isn't a person, it's a fantasy. You can't fall in love with who someone might become and resent who they are at the same time. That's not partnership, that's possession. The irony is, the people who preach self-love the loudest are often the ones least capable of self-reflection. They can analyze everyone else's behavior, but never turn the mirror toward themselves. It's easier to point than to pause. Easier to blame than to admit fault. And here's the twist. Growth isn't about fixing your partner. It's about confronting your own reflection. Not demanding change, but creating it within yourself. Not asking, what's wrong with him? But, why do I need him to change to feel okay? Real love doesn't need control to feel safe. It needs acceptance to grow strong. Because the moment you turn love into a renovation project, you stop building a home. You start building a prison. Every relationship breaks down for the same simple reason. Two people speaking completely different emotional languages. She thinks he doesn't listen. He thinks she doesn't mean what she says. She drops hints, hoping he'll read between the lines. He answers literally, thinking that's respect. Two good people, lost in translation. She says, "The house is messy." What she really means is, "I'm overwhelmed. I need help." He hears, "The house is messy," and agrees. Then she's angry he didn't offer to help, and he's confused because she never asked. That's not miscommunication. That's mind reading gone wrong. The truth is, most couples aren't fighting each other. They're fighting assumptions, not reality, but expectation. Not words, but interpretations. Men tend to solve. Women tend to express. Both come from love, but without understanding the difference, every conversation becomes a battleground. She feels unseen. He feels unappreciated. And the louder they both try to be heard, the less either one listens. It's not emotional immaturity. It's emotional imbalance. One partner over-explaining, the other shutting down. One flooding, one freezing. And over time, that pattern becomes the rhythm of the relationship. Chaos and retreat. Here's the twist. Communication isn't about talking more. It's about listening better. Not about being right, but being understood. Not about winning, but connecting. Real intimacy isn't built on constant dialogue. It's built on clarity, honesty, and grace. Say what you mean what you say. Drop the hints, drop the tests. drop the scorekeeping. Because love doesn't need to be guessed, it needs to be spoken. And when two people finally learn to speak the same language, they don't just save their relationship, they start understanding each other for the first time. Modern love talks a lot about equality, but somewhere along the way, it forgot what that word actually means. Equality isn't sameness. It isn't competition. It isn't keeping score. Equality means two people carrying the same level of commitment, even if they carry it in different ways. But today, too many couples have traded partnership for performance. One gives, the other grades. Somewhere, women were told they are the prize to be won, not the teammate to build with. And that tiny shift has poisoned everything. When one person enters a relationship believing they deserve more instead of contributing more, resentment isn't a matter of time. It's guaranteed. True partnership means accountability on both sides. It's not, I do my part when you do yours. It's, I give my 100% because that's who I am. But in the modern script, effort flows one direction while criticism flows the other. I've seen it up close. Couples where every conversation turns into a moral courtroom. She's the saint. He's the student. She's always right. He's always learning. That's not equality. That's hierarchy. Not love, but leadership without consent. And here's the twist. Equality isn't about splitting everything 50-50. It's about showing up 100%. Not balance, but devotion. Not counting chores, but sharing purpose. Because marriage isn't a contract of tasks, it's a covenant of effort. When both people stop competing and start collaborating, love doesn't just survive, it thrives. But when one person keeps score and the other stops playing, the game doesn't end in victory. It ends in silence. And in that silence, connection dies one unspoken word at a time. Here's the truth most people never see coming. Superiority always ends in loneliness. When one person believes they're morally higher, emotionally wiser, or simply more evolved, connection can't survive. Because love can't flow from a pedestal. You can't reach down and hold someone's hand at the same time. I've watched marriages crumble, not from betrayal, but from quiet devaluation. One partner stops saying thank you, stops noticing effort, starts treating kindness like currency they no longer need to pay. Appreciation fades into entitlement. Suddenly, everything he does becomes expected, and everything she does becomes extraordinary. That imbalance doesn't just hurt, it drains. Men especially don't usually explode. They retreat. They go quiet. Not because they don't care, but because caring stopped being seen. And silence becomes their final form of self-preservation. The twist is this. People think love dies from conflict, but it doesn't. It dies from comparison, from contempt, from superiority. Not shouting, but shrugging. Not storms, but coldness. You can fix anger. You can't fix apathy. Real intimacy can't exist when one partner sees themselves as the hero and the other as the project. You don't fix someone you respect. You don't lead someone you love as an equal. Marriage thrives on mutual recognition, on both people saying, I see you. I value what you bring. The moment you stop seeing your partner as worthy, you start treating them like background noise. And eventually, that's all they become. The hum of someone who used to matter. Because love doesn't disappear in one blow. It fades quietly every time respect gets replaced with righteousness. When men finally walk away, it's rarely loud. It's not rage, it's resignation. Not rebellion, but relief. Because by the time a man leaves, he's already been gone for a while. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally. You don't lose him overnight. You lose him one dismissal, one demand, one moment of contempt at a time. Modern men aren't rejecting love. They're rejecting lopsided contracts disguised as relationships. The kind where they carry all the weight. Financial, emotional, protective, and still get accused of not doing enough. The kind where appreciation turns into expectation, and affection turns into obligation. I've spoken to men who still love their wives deeply, but can't stand the feeling of being invisible in their own homes. They've stopped trying not because they don't care, but because nothing they do changes the story she's already written. He's never enough. And here's the twist. Men aren't falling behind. They're checking out, not because they're weak, but because they're tired of playing a game where they can only lose. They've watched their fathers give everything and get nothing but blame in return. They've seen their friends turn into providers with visitation rights. They know the cost of loving someone who sees your effort as expected instead of sacred. This isn't apathy, it's exhaustion. You can't expect a man to keep pouring from an empty cup. Gratitude used to fill that cup. Now it's bone dry. Love doesn't collapse from lack of effort. It collapses from lack of recognition. And when men no longer feel seen, they stop showing up. Not to hurt anyone, but to finally stop hurting themselves. If there's one word that could save love, it's reciprocity. Give what you expect. Appreciate what you receive. Not because it's convenient, but because it's fair. Love is supposed to be an exchange, not a sacrifice, not a scoreboard, not a silent competition. Two people showing up, choosing each other, every single day. The truth is, modern culture made relationships feel like negotiations instead of devotion. We treat partnership like a performance. I'll give if you give. I'll care if you notice. But that's not love. That's transaction. Not connection, but commerce. Real love takes humility. The kind that says, I'm not perfect, but I'm willing. The kind that chooses to see your partner's effort instead of their errors. That offers appreciation before criticism. Humility isn't weakness. It's strength restrained by grace. I've seen marriages transform overnight when one person decided to stop keeping score and start showing gratitude. A thank you where there used to be silence. A small gesture instead of another argument. The change is never instant, but it's contagious. Love always responds to recognition. Here's the twist. Everyone thinks they want romance, but what they actually need is respect. Not grand gestures, but daily gentleness. Not constant passion, but consistent peace. Partnership was never meant to be a battle of genders. It's supposed to be two flawed humans choosing growth over ego, teamwork over pride, peace over power. The future of love doesn't belong to the loudest, the prettiest, or the richest. It belongs to those humble enough to listen, brave enough to give, and wise enough to stay when it's hard. Because love doesn't survive on intensity, it survives on reciprocity. Not who wins, but who works. Not who's right, but who shows up. And maybe that's the truth we forgot in all the noise, that love isn't about getting everything. It's about giving enough to make forever possible. Some truths hit hard because they're real. What you just heard isn't an attack, it's a reminder. A wake-up call for anyone tired of pretending that love can survive without effort, gratitude, and respect. Don't let this message end when the video does. Take it with you. Talk about it. Think about it. And if it stirred something inside you, that mix of anger, truth, and maybe even hope, then that's your sign to go po bayurir. Share your story in the comments. Tell the truth about what love has taught you. The good, the painful, the real. Someone out there needs to hear that they're not alone. Hit that follow button, not for me, but for the version of you that refuses to settle for half-hearted love. The version that believes relationships can be better, stronger, when both people show up. Share this video with the person who needs to hear it most. Your partner, your friend, or maybe the past version of yourself. Because change doesn't start with blame. It starts with awareness. And awareness starts right here.